Today's episode of our show is truly worth your attention. We'll start with one of the biggest events in spaceflight in 2023. The American probe OSIRIS-REx has delivered a highly valuable cargo to Earth, the return capsule with samples from Asteroid Bennu. In the second segment, we'll head to Florida, where NASA conducted a launch day rehearsal for the Artemis 2 mission. The crew got to practice all the activities they will perform during the actual launch scheduled for next year. In the final topic, we'll venture into geostationary orbit, where the new European meteorological satellite MTG-I-1 is successfully undergoing the activation phase of its systems. After more than 7 years since its launch, the American probe OSIRIS-REx has reached the end of its primary mission. This probe collected material from the near-Earth asteroid Bennu on October 20th, 2020, and it was this sample that was intended to be delivered to Earth. The first step was to detach the capsule from the probe, which occurred on September 24th at 10:42 Universal Time. The capsule was on a collision course with Earth and entered its atmosphere at 14:42 Universal Time over California. The return capsule entered Earth's atmosphere at a speed of nearly 45,000 kilometers per hour, making it the second fastest human-made object to enter Earth's atmosphere. The heat shield heated up to 2,700 degrees Celsius, but the sample container was protected and its temperature reached a maximum of 75 degrees Celsius. The G-forces experienced by the capsule approached 30 G. The footage you are watching was captured by the NASA agency's WB-57 aircraft, which is equipped with optical and infrared cameras. The return capsule initially deployed a stabilizing parachute and then the main parachute, which gently lowered it into the closed military area of the Utah Test and Training Range, southwest of Salt Lake City. The actual landing occurred at 14:52 Universal Time. The capsule containing between 60 grams and 2 kilograms of samples from Asteroid Bennu was undamaged, and after a preliminary inspection, it was prepared for transport to Houston. At the Johnson Space Center in Houston, the samples will be opened, cataloged, and then undergo meticulous examination. Scientists expect that this material could reveal valuable information about the formation of the solar system. However, the probe itself missed Earth and awaits an extended mission. It still has sufficient propellants, and its onboard instruments are functioning correctly. The probe, renamed OSIRIS-APEX, will head to the asteroid Apophis, which it will reach in 2029. In addition to studying it from orbit, the probe will descend to its surface and attempt to stir material using its thrusters. Artemis 2 mission, where the SLS rocket will carry the Orion spacecraft around the Moon, is still over a year away. Nevertheless, preparations for this mission are already in progress. Since it will be the first crewed expedition of the Artemis program, launch day rehearsals are part of the preparation process. On September 20th, the mission's crew, including Reed Wiseman, Victor Glover, Christina Koch from the USA, and Jeremy Hansen from Canada, participated in one of these rehearsals. The rehearsal primarily focused on verifying all critical tasks and checking the timing schedule. The crew woke up and headed to a room where they donned the test versions of the Orion Crew Survival System spacesuits, shortly OCSS. They will wear their flight suits on the actual launch day. The entire crew then proceeded to a building where they waved to the journalists, a traditional part of the event. Following this, the astronauts boarded 2 new electric vehicles that transported them to launch pad LC-39B, which is approximately 14 kilometers away. Reed Wiseman and Victor Glover were in the first vehicle, while Christina Koch and Jeremy Hansen were in the one behind them. Upon arrival at the pad, the crew headed to the mobile launch platform, which was undergoing its own set of tests. An elevator then lifted the astronauts up, and they reached the iconic moment when they stepped onto the crew access arm, which they will use to board the Orion spacecraft. This very spacecraft will take them around the moon. Of course, neither the SLS rocket nor the Orion spacecraft were on the mobile platform yet, but the crew proceeded all the way to the end of the arm, where the so-called White Room is located. It's aptly named because it's a small, enclosed space painted white. The crew was greeted there by additional members of the support team who checked their spacesuits. This concluded the current test, but there will be a follow-up test to assess a new system that would allow the crew to quickly exit the platform in case of any issues. Rest assured, we won't miss covering this topic in our show. The new European meteorological satellite MTG-I-1 was launched at the end of last year. As the first representative of a new generation of satellites, its verification phase is being conducted meticulously. The European Space Agency has recently shared several videos showcasing the satellite's capabilities. MTG-I-1 carries 2 scientific instruments, the Flexible Combined Imager, or FCI, and the Lightning Imager. This video combines observations from both instruments during one full day. The footage starts on June 3rd of this year at 12 o'clock Universal Time and ends on June 4th at 12 o'clock Universal Time. The data show that during this time, lightning activity was most pronounced over Central Africa, the northern part of South America, Europe, and the Middle East. Third-generation Meteosat satellites, to which MTG-I-1 belongs, represent a significant technological advancement. Compared to previous generations, they can image Earth more frequently and in higher resolution. This allows scientists to gain a much more precise understanding of atmospheric phenomena. Thank you for watching today's episode of Spaceflight News. If you don't want to miss any future episodes, please consider subscribing. The next episode of our show will be released on Wednesday, September 27th.